are back at it trying to make the perfect espresso. I hope that you guys are all having a wonderful morning. We just got to let her warm on up and then we'll see how it goes. We were able to get a small upgrade for the espresso machine that I think is going to make a huge difference. One of the things that we were trying to do is have a very consistent tamp, but our issue is that the tamper that came with the actual espresso machine is it's fine, but when we're just getting started, it's hard to be able to be consistent and have the same amount of pressure every single time. So we got a spring-loaded tamper, which I'll show you. The actual design of it is actually pretty cool. But this tamper that we got, looks like this, is spring-loaded, which is kind of nice. So it gives us the same tamping pressure every single time. All right. So this one is just a ways to warm up the machine. All right. There we go. Looks pretty okay. You can get rid of all that extra water and then start the process. See if it gets, see how today goes. I just want today to be smooth, that we all have a good start to the day. All right. Perfect. So we just got to get that all leveled out. Get that working just fine. All right. I'm tamping over here just to not put pressure on the wooden countertop. Oh, the tamper's so nice. Comes out perfectly tamped. Looks pretty good. All right. Let's see if with the new tamp, the new grind setting, the new coffee, we'll see if we're able to get close with what this espresso shot is going to look like. You know, that was actually pretty good on the very first attempt, which honestly, that came out surprisingly good after literally my first attempt at making this cup of coffee this morning. All right, 393. That's without the cup tare. So let's finish this cup of coffee and see how much, or see if we were close to that 1-to-1 ratio that we need to be shooting for. The coffee itself, spot on. Carl, hello, welcome on in. It's good to see you. All right, so if I started with 19 grams, the goal is to be able to pull a total of 38. So we'll see if that ends up being enough. But based on the way that it was coming out, that tells me that we had a good pull. So let me see if I have another mug that I can weigh this out in. Then after I weigh it out, we'll be able to get a sense of how close we were. All right. Figure that the only place that's good to go, spider mug. I like it. So let's see if we can get a good weight. 302. When I started picking up espresso, I didn't realize that it was going to be this much of an exact science, but I suppose that all makes sense. Interesting. So it was still too much volume, so it's not quite perfect. So in order to, so if it was too much volume, then that tells us that it was under extracted, too watery. The flavor of the coffee actually came out pretty good, but let's try that again and see if we can get one that's going to be closer to being perfect, and then we'll see. But the coffee itself is pretty good. Post-coffee prep. Let's run the water through it just to be able to get the oils from the espresso out, and then we'll give it another shot. We'll see how it goes. I was not expecting to get like a relatively decent espresso shot on my very first attempt. So let's keep at it and see what we're able to do. I'll probably do a couple of pulls today just to give it a shot and see how well we can actually make a good cup of coffee. The biggest thing is that I just want to have a perfect cup of coffee for Elena, so we'll see. We'll see if we get there. All right, clean this guy up. Can't wait to be able to get one of the Weiss distribution tools so that you can actually see it get well distributed. But This is almost ready to go. See if we have the right dose. 18, 19. It's pretty close. It's on the higher end, but that's okay. A nice little tamped espresso. All right, let's see if that's going to be as good of a shot as we hope. Like I said, today's probably going to be just a couple as we're trying to dial this in. Olivia, hello. Welcome on in. It's good to meet you, my friend. Olivia subscribed. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That means the world to me. We're on our journey to be able to make a wonderful espresso. That actually looks like it is. It might be closer, actually. So the issue with the last one, when it was first starting to come out, it was mostly water. This might be just a little bit on the opposite end, meaning that it was too thick. Harder to be able to see through the glass just because of the way that the glass is. But the crema at the top looks good. On the inside here, looks also pretty good. But in terms of weight, we'd be shooting for right around 38 grams. No, it did it to me again. The scale turned off as soon as I went to weigh it. All right, so let's do the same thing that we did the last time and weigh the Spider Cup. See if we're able to get a sense of how much it actually came out as. And we should also taste it and kind of see if the flavor is there. But I'd venture to guess that with the way that this just pulled, that it's going to be bitter and a bit too much. Actually, interesting. So this came out as 27, which kind of like what we were expecting, a little overexpressed, meaning that it took too long for the coffee to actually go through, which tells us that we either have too much coffee, the grind is too thin or too fine, or that the tamping pressure was too much. Seeing as how the tamping pressure I can't change, and I don't think that having too much coffee is the problem. We can definitely try that again and see if we can get. I just got to dial this in just a little bit more so that we can make the perfect espresso. I'm excited to be able to continue the journey of getting the perfect espresso. All right. I was just looking at the used puck. examining. Overall looks pretty even. Actually, since I'm just going to pull another shot, it should be fine. So let's dial back the grind amount just a little bit. Because it's, like I said, very close. Just a touch too fine. Let's try 7.5 and we'll see how it goes. Think it's only me left in the stream? Well, Olivia. Well, Olivia, I appreciate you for hanging out. We are just getting started on down this pathway of streaming on YouTube, so we'll get there. But I definitely appreciate you for hanging out with me. It means the world. Alrighty. So this is pre-tamp. You can see what that looks like. Just got to make sure it's even. Nice little post-tamp. Looks good. No problem. I'll still be in the stream till it ends. Amazing. Thank you. How's your Monday morning going? Hopefully you're off to a good day. I definitely appreciate you sticking around. What types of things do you normally watch when you stream or when you're watching streams? Olivia, I need you to remember the number 336, my friend. Good, it's actually nighttime. Ooh. Where are you at then? We are streaming from the United States. So I'm literally just waking up and I wanted to try to shoot to have a good start to the day with the espresso. Better. It's kind of a lot of volume. Let's see. The color, the crema all look pretty good, pretty solid. Nice. Okay, I'm at Greek. We moved here. Aldo. I've stayed here 2 years, and it's like your home now. Amazing. I'm glad that you were able to find a place that still feels like home. That's the most important thing. Alrighty. So we went from 336 to 391, which is still way too much volume. Which means that's going to be too thin. So that tells us that the going down on the ground size was too much. So in order to get the perfect espresso, the ratio to the amount of coffee that you have, that you put in there, to the amount of extracted coffee at the end, should be a 1-to-2 ratio, which we're close. This one that I made to the right, which was in the spider cup that was super thick, this guy, it came out and tastes good. The only problem is that it was a touch overexpressed. So why don't we give it one last attempt and see if we can get the perfect shot. And then we'll start the day after that. I still have to taste this one to see how close it is. No. This one that we made in this cup, it's pretty far off actually. Doesn't taste like quite. It doesn't taste quite much like anything. So, still got a little bit of work to do. But Olivia, what do you normally watch on stream? Okay, let's try one last time. Get this coffee perfect to start the day. Let's get a weight really quickly, and then after we do that, I'll pull it. Go. Well, Olivia, I definitely appreciate that you are taking the time to hang out with me. Too much coffee. So this is at 20 grams. So let's take a little bit out. We'll see if we can get that a little bit closer to the 18 grams that we need to be shooting for. Okay. Are probably Cash and Nico. Well, I'm gonna have to check them out. I'm actually not familiar with them. Okay, so now this total weight is 18 grams, which means that on the very back end we should be shooting for about 36 grams of espresso once it actually comes out. And overall, looks pretty good. Nice and even anyways. Okay. Normally, if I'm when I start my day and I'm doing a stream like this, it's usually as I'm trying to make the perfect espresso, and then at night sometimes I'll also stream playing video games, but it kind of depends on whether or not the availability is there. So. Not quite there. This is going to be another one that's going to be too thin, unfortunately. So the main thing I'm looking for is how it's coming out of the espresso machine, which is hard to see because the whole thing is vibrating. But if it comes out with too much water, then that tells me that it's not going to be quite perfect. So this one also wasn't quite there, but that's okay. We had one that was pretty close. So now, which to confirm the way that we begin, we'll see how much this actually weighs. No, it went out as soon as I went to go do it. Oh, that's annoying. So let's see. So again, about 392, which is way too thin. How old are you? I'm 16. I am actually 30. I'm an old man. I'm an old man just trying to be happy making some coffee. All right. How much coffee is in there? All righty, my friends. I think that's going to be the last one for right now. I just don't want to waste all of the coffee, because I'm not going to be able to drink this one either. Didn't quite come out the way that I wanted. But I mean, overall, so the issue is that this is quite a lot of volume. The crema, which is the like cream color on top, is pretty thin. So that tells me that we have a little bit of a ways to go. Oh, it's okay. Don't call yourself old. You're perfect just the way you are. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful morning, and I definitely am glad that I had the chance to be able to meet you, Olivia. It's been fun to be able to hang out. If you're interested, I can try one more pool and see if we're able to get it perfect, but this one was also just a little bit off. Still too thin. All right, let's try one last one. One last pull and then we'll be done. So the only thing that I changed is that I made the actual coffee grinds to be a little bit finer. So ideally, if it's finer, it should allow us to get a little bit more pressure and a little less volume to go all the way through. So I think that's part of the problem, is that we have too much water compared to everything else. So let's do one last pull. Turn the overall volume down just a hair. Perfect. 18 grams, didn't even have to take any out that time, which tells me that we are on the right track. Perfect. This tamp that we bought is pretty cool, and I'm glad that we bought it. So it's spring loaded so that when you go to press it, this whole weight when you press it is the same every single time. So that takes out another variable when it comes to making a good shot of espresso. Have to wash my hands. I'm gonna eat. Well, Olivia, what are you gonna have for dinner? Or I guess fourth meal, since it's pretty late. I gotta get ready to have breakfast. I just wanted to try to have a good cup of coffee before I start cooking. All right. Seven. Okay. Alrighty. Just as a heads up, I'm going to pick up and move the camera so that you can actually get a better sense of the things that I'm looking at when I go to do this. So I'm looking at the pressure gauge and I'm looking at how much coffee is actually being put out at the same time. Welcome back, Olivia. What are you making for food? So Olivia, do you see how when it comes out it looks almost like water? That's a sign that it might be too thin again. So we're almost there, but it might not be perfect. Yep. So still have a little bit of a ways to go before we dial this in, but it's getting better. We're almost there. So this again, well, volume wise, and the crema, which is the like cream portion on top, those all look good, but it's too much volume. So it's gonna be a little bit thinner than your regular coffee. So next time we'll try it again. But for today, that's probably what I'm gonna call it because I don't want to waste too much in the way of coffee. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and Olivia, I hope you have a wonderful night. I appreciate you for hanging out. But until next time, the next stream that we'll be doing will be what, Tuesday morning, where I try to give it another shot. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I appreciate you for hanging out. Goodbye, my friends.